Very
So
cool.
the build out on the retail space was finished. So I was just about to check it to make sure it was done right.
Give me some stats, man. Give me some metrics. What's you
Okay.
what's your projections on the brick and mortar retail front?
Um, well, it's hard to say, obviously. Obviously. Um, it needs to be, like 350, if not 400, and I think we have a chance over the next few years to build up to about 500.
You talking
We
about
probably have,
annual net or gross?
well, that's gross, but at
Okay.
the same time, our net, is going to be about 80% of that because popcorn's really getting expensive. So they're fairly close numbers, and that's per store.
Mm-hmm.
So Little Rock can have probably 3 or 4 of them. So I could see anywhere, like I said, 300 to 550, depending on kind of as it starts or as you got to build it up, obviously, and that's mostly with the retailing. We do the business kind of services add-on. Um, for example, our fundraising programs, and our fundraising programs are currently doing, say, in our current store, like maybe say 80 to 100 a year. So I think that's to be say double or triple that as well. So the whole thing could be actually a decent size if we really do it well. Or rather, I think a lot of actually not as much if we do it well if the city likes it. We've actually had a lot better feedback from say a place like Little Rock, which I think has more of an open mind to weirder stuff than say my hometown, which is it's a really small town in East Texas, which they thought is popcorn. We've never had a popcorn store. Why do we need one? Kind of one of those sorts of very kind of closed-minded ideas, kind of. So it's been a little. Plus, there's just less people there. The population is so significantly less. It's been tougher, but
Certainly, I mean, product, place, location, all that matters.
yeah. So I think actually, if you maybe if you look on our Facebook, we have a picture of the new store. So
Will you be using this same? Will you be using this account to market with, or will you be creating pop-up promo?
yeah, we probably have to create a. We can probably do a pop-up promo. I can probably
I would do
kind of
that. It's easy. It's
co-market
super.
with this.
All you have to do is just create the page. In fact, I just did that for another site where I created 2 new pages, that are to feeder sites, and certainly, using it with that, I mean, it's all about just building it up. This is one of them. This is for a health and beauty product. So I just created it, and I'm going to fill up the feed, which is the news feed here. I'm going to fill this up with a lot of articles, that I've already dated to send out, as well as I'll backdate them. So I'll fill this up. So if someone really has to click on, see what this page is all about, they'll come here. They may not see a lot of likes, but a lot of business pages you don't right off the bat, so that doesn't matter. So they're going to come here and see how much information is here. And if you got a lot of content, both pointing, for SEO purposes to your website, as well as for sale purposes, because this points directly to the product sale page, but also bringing in other content that's just, that's relevant to the industry. Really, Facebook is all about sharing information about, about your industry. So you would want to talk about things that are relevant to people that, would, like a tip or a trick or something that people would read and be like, oh, cool. Okay. Yeah. That's what you really want to post up here. Not a lot of, there's people here that specialize in what they call organic social media marketing, which is really not the case. I mean, pretty much everybody out there is like they'll do something like if you see here, they'll boost the post, and what that will do is, you'll set like a little budget. It's got a little, audience creator here. Um, yeah, you can add in some interest. Certainly, what you do is you can just browse them. Let me pull it down, and it'll give you like an outline. So for something like this, I would want to hit like family, fitness, and shopping and fashion. And if we break it down a little bit further, if you go into family, I would want to look at like dating, um, marriage, motherhood, parenting, and then fashion, fitness. I'd probably dieting, your gyms, meditation, nutrition, physical exercise, physical fitness, yoga, Zumba, and then uh, the for the fashion industry, you'd want to obviously focus on beauty, beauty salons, cosmetics. Probably would bypass on fragrances because I don't see a correlation. Bypass on hair products because there's no correlation. Spas, yes. Tattoos, no correlation. And then obviously you can look at like fashion industry or fashion accessories. And really, when you build a Facebook campaign from the ground up, you're gonna have all these variables that you'll be able to input, either individually, and certainly that's kind of where the creative side comes in, or that's where the art of it comes in. Is just you have to figure out kind of who they are, and that takes a manual operator saying yes, yes, no, no, kind of like I'm doing here, right? So what you do is you're able to get your location. Certainly, you wouldn't want to do it just obviously you can pinpoint whether you're let's say for your product. Let's pinpoint Arkansas. Let me take off Alabama. But let's not just pinpoint the whole state because there's a lot of rural areas here that'll never see your product, probably never buy your product. Maybe if they come to the city, if you're in like a high tourist travel zone area, you're able to capture some interest and you can retarget. Yeah, cool. But you're really targeting, both people that live in the specific areas that you have retail stores, as well as, looking for tourists that you can you can like serve them up an ad that's like, shows them a historical place that they may have visited in Little Rock. And some feel good ad with a couple, smiling, holding each other with the landmark in the back. Anything that can trigger an emotion. But if you really want to punch down into it, you can even get on like, you can even get down. I mean, you can get down to a zip code level with targeting. So you can even target specific areas, leave out certain areas in and around of Little Rock. So let's kind of drill in.
Probably more like western and central Little Rock.
And see what we can do is we can go ahead and bring this down a little bit and just narrow it in. So western and central, you're looking at like maybe Benton and
yeah, that's basically all of Little Rock right there still.
Right there.
We can go a lot closer.
Oh.
It is. Just as small as it goes.
Yeah, 10's about the lowest you'll go on this. So let's just say you do.
That would be everything.
Right.
Totally.
And then
where that dot is about actually where the store is. So.
Right. I mean, you can even drill into like a community zip code level. I mean, it can get very, very specific. And the thing about Facebook is you can even dial it in more specifically by really identifying and excluding and using if or statements,
like
basically.
72205.
Say it again.
72205.
Yeah. So you can dial it into the specific location. You could even dial it in closer than that. But that's 7225, and like let's say you use specific area codes. Like if you already either you already know them, or someone like me is going to have to go into a map and identify them. And what you're doing is you're going to be able to hit specific areas. You can even target like specific income. So if you know that your average customer is making 80,000 or more a year, you really don't want to bother with the 50, 40, 30, 20 group, right? There's no point serving them.
For the retail store, it's fairly general, of course.
Sure. And I mean, certainly, I think what your point is with this is to go B2B. So,
yeah, sorry. Obviously, the difference, of course, is that the Top Shop retail store is not the same thing as what we're
right, right, yeah, certainly. But I mean, I guess the point of this, is really the idea that you can dial it in really any way you want, and certainly one way that you can do it is, you can dial it in. I mean, you could even do it like go as far as being able to take, let's say, the email subscriptions that you have a pop up on your site to capture, right? You can take that email list and actually scrape it and use it to retarget both on Google AdWords as well as Facebook. And if they signed up, if they use either one of those email addresses for either one of those accounts, it's going to allow you to pinpoint target them with your message. Does that make sense? So certainly, with what you have here, you're going to want to identify your age range. I mean, obviously you want somebody with some authority, so you're probably going to look at someone that's 36 through 57. You identify, you can even segment it, and this is really kind of a good thing to do because you can build this list right here, this audience that you're creating, right? You can name it like, say, for men, where you're going to serve up men certain ads, and then you can create another list with women, and then you can create another list with, different age. I mean, you can even make the age range, which I like to do, even closer, and really segment so you get a really hyper focus on it, so you can get a lot of data back. But let's say you have the 36 through 40 range for men, just in the zip code, and then you're able to add in the interest, that potentially can help narrow down the field and serve up the ads to more relevant people, so you get a good impression to click-through rate. And impression rate is always measured by per thousand, basically per thousand views, per thousand units, however you want. Same thing's used for like billboard advertising or TV impressions. I mean, they base all the CPM, whatever they telling you, off of that. And the cool thing about digital marketing that's different from traditional marketing is that you're able to create not only just, you don't spend, say, 12 hours of some, designer's time at $125 an hour to produce like 5 iterations. You choose top 3. They, or you choose the one that you want. They take that and give it to you, right? With this, you're able to take the same concept and you're able to use it certainly with tools to be able to dynamically change everything up from the image used to the tagline to the messaging, the CTA, everything. You want to test everything. So Facebook's good. It's expensive. So you have to understand how to use it appropriately, or it just eats money. Whereas you can really fine tune the cost side on Google PPC, such as AdWords. You're able to, you can keep things a little bit more under control, and certainly you just won't rank for certain hot words, and that brings in a whole another strategy on how to deal with that. But as a general idea, do you understand how this works? How you can segment it down, build audiences that are hyper specific?
Yeah, actually, the thing is, and this is always the thing with me is, from a conceptual standpoint, I actually have read about and understand, data, statistics, and the value in all of it. Actually, to some degree, somewhat well. In terms of literally putting it into practice, that is to say, saying, okay, I'm going to decide to sell this product. I'm going to decide to use these avenues. I'm going to decide to start the process and then iterate it down to where I've actually found the solution. I have just no ability. So, yeah, I totally get what you're saying. I knew Facebook could do this, right? I never personally gone to the section of Facebook where it was happening, and I've never attempted to do it myself. So, yeah, I'm totally with you. I'm ready to really kind of go through it and learn how it works, learn what you do, and learn how to do it. So.
Well, I mean, since we're on AdWords, we'll just continue. Let me show you how something would be set up. This count, this count got flagged. I'm not really sure the reason why. I took over it like last week, but that's why I created this two new pages because if they did something, I mean, I'm pretty sure I know what they did and how they violated the rules. I mean, certainly you can get flagged for numerous things. One of them being, over 20% text rule. So you always want to keep your text overlay to under 20%. The images can't be like per se before after shots. And I found a way to actually get around that. So I'm using some creativity around that. But anyhow, this account kind of gives you an idea of how things are set up and what is used. But when we look at it, we have several campaigns here. These are all the different campaigns they run. When you set up a campaign, it's kind of like the same thing as like, I guess think of a campaign as like an ad group on the AdWords side. So an ad group equals a Facebook campaign, whereas within the campaign there are usually multiple variations of each ad set, which is going to be your actual subject line, the image that is used, um, and it's going to give you, your image, your video if you use it, text, and links. So if we look at this one right here, um, this was an ad they set up to pay for, and this was the actual the copy that was used on page. And then they're using, if you see this link here at the bottom, this is called like what we call like a URL sweetener or a URL shortener. And you can use free programs like Bitly, which is great for taking a really long domain name and shortening it down, as well as being able to track the traffic that clicks on that link. So you're able to further understand which campaigns are clicked on by which of these links are used within that campaign. Okay, and then you have this is called your headline, and then you have your text, your body text. And then you have the display of of the site URL. And really, for the way this is going to be used, you're not really going after shares or likes. Shares and likes and um, engagement. Those kind of metrics are great for. That's kind of like the SEO of the social media world, where that's great for some granular, organic homemade stuff, but for paid ads, it's all about conversion rate. It's all about it's really about taking ads that have been shown to customers before that have shown interest in your site using the Facebook pixel retargeting code, and being able to drive them, through the sales funnel, through an action where they've already seen something that probably has used a tagline like this, like a good moisturizer, talking about the moisturizing benefits, this, that, and the other. So the way that you write this is how I conceptualize it. So instead of you got to be able to write several things at once, and you got to be able to produce. So here's how I think of it. We've got identifying the different parts of the purchasing funnel. You have the top, the middle, and the bottom. Top of the people are people that need some sort of salesy catch line, some trick or some new thing that they don't know anything about. That, oh my God, it's Then Facebook retargeting takes over in the middle of the product-based selling to get users to look at the specific product itself, or maybe read some information that's going to then be able at the bottom to recommend this product, after they provide relevant information that the user sees as beneficial. And then the bottom of the sales funnel is actually where we do like a BOGO, buy one get one, something that they have to, like an immediate action. We want them to immediately make the purchase, and that's where retargeting, conversion, all that kind of comes in, and it takes time to settle these things up. I mean, it's kind of like, if you put up a new store, you got to put a lot of money into it, to get it up off the ground. But once you do get it off the ground, you have things like return customers, repeat business, recurring revenues, things that you can count on. But in the beginning, you have none of this. So, actually, the bottom of the funnel, this is actually the bottom of the funnel right here. I'm sorry. This is my funnel. And this is some of the text that, that all of these things, like, for example, there's 20 different headline examples here with one, two, three, with 4 different calls to action on the button, with text, with I guess maybe say 10 different versions of the actual text. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna dynamically inject all of this and see which in each one of these funnels, whether it's the middle, the bottom, or the top, I'm going to see which one of these combinations really triggers people to take the action that I want and need, which is for them to make the purchase decision. Okay? You have any questions here?
No, and then really, this is one of those things where from a high 30,000-foot level, I really do get it. I don't know. I've actually to some degree studied some of the stuff, read some of the stuff, and, have been exposed to the marketing funnel thing a lot. And obviously, we put it into practice in certain ways, in some systems I've had. So I'm ready to kind of go from maybe like I love this stuff. That's so awesome. But yeah, I just need to kind of get how cool that is.
This is something.
Get into doing it,
Let's see, presentation. I've never done this before. Excuse me while I do this. Look at there. Cool. I tell you what. Why don't we let's take 5 minutes and we'll pause, and then let's come back and let's discuss this diagram and break it down into its individual parts and how it all kind of links back to what I just went over with you about everything on the Facebook side.
Okay.
Sound good?
Like that?
Yeah, if you'll give me, say, 5 minutes, and I will call you back. I'll just leave the screen going, so, just do whatever you got to do, and I'll give you a call back.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Bye.